Hi, today I'm joined with Mads Singers, and today's episode is about how to effectively onboard new hires.
Yep, and that's a great topic, and it's a place where many, particularly smaller business owners, often leave a lot to be desired. So, simple process for how to onboard new people. When you're onboarding people, there's a bunch of things to take into account. So, you have paperwork, you often have contracts, you have things like that. Get it sorted out. If you haven't done it before they start, at least do it as the first thing when someone starts to make sure that's out of the way, right? Second thing, logins, access levels. As much of that you can sort out before someone starts, the better. There's nothing worse than being new in a company and every time you're trying to do something, you don't have access, you don't have the login, someone else somewhere else needs to get your access. It's a pain and it feels for new hires unprofessional, right? The thing is, when someone have got a new job, they're super excited to get started. They're like, people want to feel important, they want to feel like they matter, etc., right? And optimizing these things, looking at these things beforehand, makes a huge difference, right? So try and set up their ideas, try and set up their logins, really think about what do they possibly need access to, right? Next step is clear goals. What happens in so many smaller companies is that they onboard staff, they have no obvious goals or there's no obvious targets for the new hires. They come in, they work for a few months, and as a business owner, you don't actually know if they're good or not. Or as the manager of the department, you don't know if they're good or not. What you want to do, as much as you possibly can, is set goals for the first 3 months. By the end of month one, what should this person be able to achieve? And that might be a sales goal, it might be a project goal, something needs to be completed, etc. By the end of month two, what's the goal, what's the expectation? By the end of month three, what's the goal, what's the expectations? Why is that important? It's important because as a manager, you want to be able to ask yourself, sorry, it's
What
important,
brings it?
yeah, it's important.
Yeah,
Oh,
go on, sorry.
it's important because as a manager, you want to be able to ask yourself, is this person a success or not? And even more important, you want the new person to know, am I a success? If I'm starting a sales role and I know my goal is to get 10 sales in month one and I get 12, I know I'm doing a great freaking job. Most people sit around and have no idea if they're killing it, if they suck, they don't know because the goals is not obvious. And to the manager, it's critically important because you want to ask yourself the question, wait a minute, I've spent a month with this person. Are they actually the great hire I thought? Because reality is, if you can get rid of them after a month, if they're not the right person, it saves you so much headache. So having clear expectation is a benefit for you and for them. The last thing is make sure you give them something meaningful to do. Make sure when they come in, there's something lined up, there's something ready, there's something prepared. That is the most important thing because they want to get in there, they want to go.
On that, then, when you're onboarding, you've got your new hire, and then you're obviously looking to do everything on there. What? How do you? Is it from previous experience you're setting the KPIs and the goals and stuff like that? How are you setting those goals, and how are you breaking them down at a day by day level or week by week level, or are you waiting till the end of the month to see whether they've hit those goals? What? How much do you break it down and micromanage the expectation?
So it typically depends on the role. If you're hiring someone for a sales role where you have five other people, you probably have very clear ideas of what they need to be able to do, right? If you're hiring for a brand new role, the thing I like looking for is what makes this person a success. As in, if I hire a new sales guy, where do they need to get to in 3 months to make me money. If I'm hiring you, I'm paying you $5,000 a month, and I know by the end of the 3 months you need to make more money than that. And I would probably say you should probably make at least 15 grand for it to make sense for me to hire you, right? So I love looking at what is the impact this individual need to make me feel great about this hire. And then I try and set a goal in that direction, right? So we've had a couple of roles where it was a little bit difficult. So we hired some graphic designers that was going to do loads of different types of graphic design, right? And it was very difficult setting them a specific target. But in most roles, you can set some targets, you can set some projects, you can set up some stuff that gives you and them a good expectation of what's needed, right? But it can sometimes project is also harder. Like we've had a couple times, probably twice, where we've hired someone in for a project where we have kept them even though they missed the deadline, right? So one of them was they had to set up a site, and we actually made it a 3 month project. They had to set up a site, they had to get to a certain point. They had done a lot of it, but they hadn't gotten 100% completed. But and this was not an excuses thing, so it wasn't like, oh, I couldn't do it because blah blah blah. They owned up to it and said, hey, I didn't manage to do it all. I was too focused on doing this. I was too focused on perfecting this. So we gave them the benefit of the doubt and continued. However, my experience have been with most goals and targets, when people don't hit them and we let people keep going, we regret it. If a sales guy comes in or a girl comes in and after 3 months haven't hit the goal, my experience is 99% of the time we regret holding on to them. And that is
Yeah.
the case in most roles, right? Some kind of project roles can sometimes be a little bit different, but I am sometimes too kind of a human being, and I used to be too keen on holding on to people because now we have invested in them and we have trained them. But throwing good money after bad money is not the way to win in business. So.
Yeah, for sure. So anyone who's watching this, is there anything else that Mads has missed off with regards to onboarding new hires? What have you found important as you've started to grow the staff? What you've done on the onboarding? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Mads, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Great chat again.